How many of you recognize this logo? Okay. How many of you use this technology? Okay. And who honestly likes it? Okay. This is the RxJS logo. I'd like to make you curious about RxJS, show you what it's capable of, and how to make the first step. RxJS is able to do many things. However, in my opinion, its biggest advantage is that it allows to implement fairly complex asynchronous code in a fairly simple way. For example, this code shows autocomplete suggestions. And looking from the top, it reacts to the query input changes, debounces the events, reacts only if the query is at least 3 characters long, sends HTTP request to the server with the query, and on top of that, the switch map operator at the end takes care of possible race conditions, so we will receive only the autocomplete suggestions for the latest query only. As you can see, we have a clear flow of what happens from top to bottom in just a few lines of code. This is what RxJS is capable of. Let's now go back to the basics and see how to make the first step. To start with, let's see how we react to the values in RxJS. We have some source emitting the values, and the values might be spread in time. So let's draw a timeline. And now let's imagine that we enter some local grocery store and start looking around, and we might find a lemon, for example. We react to it by, for example, putting it into our shopping basket if it was on our shopping list. And if we would go on and see other products, our reaction would happen independently for each one of them. This is how we react to the values in the incoming values in RxJS, one by one. Okay, let's now familiarize ourselves with 3 key RxJS concepts. First is the observable. This is our source which will be emitting the values. And to create a new observable, you can use the new observable constructor and pass a function to it. And this function is the logic which will be emitting the values. And in our case, the logic is very simple. Once it's executed, we will instantly emit 2 values, Alice and Ben. The observable on its own doesn't do anything. It just describes the way the values will be emitted. Right now, we need to somehow describe how do we want to react to each emitted value. For that, we can define our observer. And in case of this code, we will simply console log each emitted value. At this stage, we have the observable, which just describes the logic, how will the values be emitted. And we also have the observer describing how do we want to react to each emitted value. Right now, we need to somehow execute this logic placed inside of our observable and pass our observer to it. To do so, we need the third element, which is the subscription. A subscription is an execution of the observable, and each observable exposes the subscribe method to which we can pass our observer. And this new statement below will actually execute the code placed inside of the observable above with the observer passed to it. And every subscriber next statement inside of this logic will actually call next on the observer, which in effect will console log the value. I know it sounds like over-engineering, but trust me, this interface enables really great things. The observables can get quite complex and even connect to databases or use sockets. Simplifying what we have on the screen right now, the observable is like a function which can return multiple values, also asynchronously. The subscription is like a call to this function, and the observer is our callback describing how do we want to react to each emitted value. In real-life situations, there are many shortcuts, helper functions, and operators available in RxJS, so instead of using the new observable constructor, our code will look more like what we can see over here. More next time. I'm Jurek Woźniak. Thank you and good luck.